Hey, what's up, everybody? Robbie Johnson here, checking in for WellesleySportsBlitz.com here, bringing you our official Wellesley preview of the 128th installment of the oldest high school football rivalry in the country, the Wellesley Raiders and the Needham Rockets, taking place Thanksgiving Day at Fenway Park in Boston this year. I'm very happy to be joined this evening by Peter Santo. Peter is a senior at Wellesley High School. He has done some of our broadcasts for Wellesley Media for all the Wellesley football games, which I do as well. And he also is an editor for the Wellesley High School newspaper, The Bradford.
Yes, I'll plug
Also, speaking of blogs, Peter actually has his own blog with
santosports.org. We changed the name now.
So it's not .wordpress
No,
anymore.
we got rid of that. It took a long time to get rid of that, and we finally did it.
All right, well, so go check Peter out on a wide range of social media things. But anyway, let's get right into this. This Wellesley team, kind of a tale of two seasons, I guess you could call it. They started off 6-0, were playing at home for the Harrogate Division title against Milton, lost 14-7, and was a heartbreaking game. And since then, they've really sort of hit a downward slope heading into Thanksgiving. They've lost 4 in a row total, including their first playoff game and then the 2 consolation games following that. So I guess Peter, what I want to touch on here is sort of your thoughts on some of the reasons why this team, has been, after having such a hot start to the season, has now been kind of struggling the second half of the year.
I mean, I really don't think the play has really been all that different in terms of the 4 losses. All the games were very similar to the games that they won, in the sense that the defense overall played very well, and the offense really just didn't get going at all.
Yeah.
And that's really been a theme throughout all 10 games, the wins and the losses. And I would say quality of opponent definitely matters. I would say they've been going up against some stronger teams recently. Particularly liked what I saw out of King Philip. They definitely surprised me. I was at that game. I did not like their uniforms, but they looked in ugly yellow. But they played a great game, and they really took it to us.
Yeah, and actually the King Philip game was the most points that this Wellesley defense by far had given up this season, 28-14 loss. And it was very interesting. I think the real thing that stood out for me was this past Saturday. I know a game you weren't able to be at, but the Wellesley played Quincy, a team that coming into that game was 2-7. Now you think a 6-3 team going up against a 2-7 team, the 6-3 team probably has a pretty good advantage. They lost 6-0.
Yeah.
I mean, and the defense played as well as they've been playing all season long. They got the stops they needed to. They got a couple turnovers. But the offense just could not get anything going. I think it's exactly to your point, Peter, is that this Raider offense, started off the season pretty decently. I mean, they put up 20 and 28 points in their, 20 and 35 points in their first 2 games respectively. But since then, for whatever reason, the numbers have fallen way off. And I guess now, as we sort of look ahead to what they need to do in order to beat this Needham team, who, by the way, is coming in 7-3, coming off a sort of smashing loss to Marshfield, who, let's face it, is better than most of the other teams out there. They're going to go up against another team that is very solid defensively. And I guess the question I want to ask is, what do they have to do offensively to get something, because we know the defense is going to be there.
Absolutely.
The defense has been there every single game. Besides maybe the King Philip game, the defense has played well every single game this season. But what do they have to do offensively to get going in this game?
I mean, I think they just gotta. I mean, they've been running the option all season with really varied success. They've really just been hit or miss with the run game. Some games they've been on, Brendan Dolan, Grant Krasikis, whoever is running the football, scoring touchdowns. They've all been there for the Raiders, and I think if they go as their run game goes, and if they can get going and really, I don't want to say keep the ball out of Jake's hands, but if they keep from throwing the ball and avoid getting into downs or down and distance where they have to throw the football, because that's where they struggle.
Yeah.
We saw it against Milton and again against Braintree, where if they have to throw the ball, they're going to struggle if they get behind. They're a front-running team.
Exactly, and I think the other thing is that early on in the season, I know coming into the season there was a lot of questions about the offensive line and the fact that it was a young line, not a lot of returners. But early on in the season, they looked pretty decent on the line. I mean, they like I said, they put up 20 points against Peabody. They put up 35 points against Framingham. They were able to run the ball effectively. Now, the run game, which was a dominant force for them early on, has really sort of hit a skid. I mean, especially in like the Braintree game and the Quincy game, and even some of the games they won, like Walpole and Natick. When they run up against those big strong defensive lines who can really contain the middle, they're in trouble. They're in trouble because they like that middle run. I mean, they have those strong running backs, but if they face a team that can control that line of scrimmage, they're going to be in some trouble. And I think, unfortunately, Needham kind of fits that build as a team that could give them fits running the football. And obviously, Jake Moen can throw the football.
For sure.
He can throw the football. We've seen him do it a couple of times this season. His favorite target, either to Brendan Doller or to Griffin Morgan on the outside. Those have been sort of the main go-to guys throwing the ball. But, you've got to control that line of scrimmage. And the offensive line, who started off the season strong, has now been struggling, has gone up against more experienced lines, and has not been able to get the job done.
I think the main key for the passing game is simply giving Jake time in the pocket. I know he's more of a mobile quarterback who really doesn't like to operate out of the pocket. He likes to run around and make plays with his feet, but I think as he becomes more of a pocket passer, they're going to have more success. I think almost every interception I've seen Jake throw this year is when he was throwing on the run. Very rarely did he throw a really poor pass where he was able to really set his feet and throw a good pass. I think as the Raiders protect him, their passing offense will continue to get better.
Definitely. Well, we're just going to have to sort of see, which Raider offense is going to show up. Will it be the one these last few games that has really struggled to score points, or will it be the one maybe earlier on in the season which was able to get that running game going and get that passing game going and put more points up on the board? It's a really good question, and I don't know if I necessarily have an answer to it heading into this game. So now let's look at the rivalry a little bit in general here. And over the last 5 years or so, it's kind of gone towards the Needham direction. They've won 4 out of the last 5. But this rivalry, I don't think there's anything like it. There's not a lot like it in high school sports, maybe even sports in general. 128th meeting between these two teams, going all the way back to 1882. You and I are both Wellesley guys, but this is just sort of from your perspective, what makes this rivalry so special?
I think the part of it is it's the longest public high school rivalry in the entire country. I think that makes it unique to have it right here. I think because the towns themselves are very similar in terms of similar people who live in them, very similar schools that the student athletes attend. I think it makes it very interesting. I think the players try to find really as many differences as they can, but they can't really find that many. And I think it's really as unique a rivalry as you will find really in this area, in terms of how everyone comes out to the Wellesley Needham game always.
Oh, absolutely.
Even more so this year, the venue is spectacular.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, and it's you bring up a perfect segue. The game is going to be played this year at Fenway Park in Boston, 9 o'clock kickoff, which is a little bit of a change. We're used to that sort of 10 a.m. kickoff, but it's going to be at 9 this year, so you just got to wake up early.
Yeah,
wake up an hour earlier, people, and get in there. But sort of looking at it from your perspective, and also being a student at Wellesley High School, how has the response? Has the response been overwhelmingly positive? What have people been saying sort of around the school since this was announced about a month or so ago?
Everyone is super excited. Really, just it's a great way to represent our school at such a special venue, and we're just everyone is really excited for the opportunity. The community is really looking forward to it. I know pretty much everyone I know is planning on going to the game. It's really great to see so many people out supporting our team. Really, the only negative thing I've heard is that this was supposed to be a home game this year. So that's true, a bit of a drag for some people who maybe don't want to, maybe or can't, or don't want to drive into the city. But the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive, and I'm really looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be just another great game.
I couldn't agree more. I think I'm so much looking forward to being in there and just seeing. I'll actually get to see football at Fenway twice because I'll be at the BC Notre Dame game on Saturday. But just to see this historic rivalry played on such a amazing historic venue, I think it's going to be great. All right, before we let you go up here, a couple quick hitters. We got a couple quick hitters here. First of all, let's go 3 keys to Wellesley victory on Thanksgiving.
Run the ball. They've been doing it all year. Just keep running the ball. Run that option. Try to confuse them. Needham's not going to know who's getting the ball. Just keep doing what you're doing. You won 6 straight games doing it. It's got to work at some point. Once again. Then second, just keep playing Raider defense. They've been playing it all year, and really, except for one game, their defense has been phenomenal all season. They've really allowed somewhere around 6 points a game, really the entire season. Yeah. And they've, Sam McGee, Will Kramer, I could go on and on with the names. The linebacking core and the defensive line is just, they're spectacular. It's the best defense we've seen for Wellesley in a long time.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that.
And third, I would say just, let Jake really do his thing. Jake is a great quarterback. He doesn't have maybe the arm strength doesn't blow you away, or really any of the physical attributes really blow you away, maybe other than his ability to run. But Jake is an incredible athlete, and he's a really smart guy, and he really is a leader, and he really knows how to lead that team. And I don't think he's going to let them lose. I think he's just going to will them to victory.
All right, second to last thing, key player to watch for Wellesley in this one.
I think it's got to be. I think one of the running backs, Sam McGee, not Sam McGee, Brendan Dolan, Grant Krasikis. There are probably 5 different ones. But as the running game goes, the Raider offense goes, and whether the Raider offense shows up or not is going to determine whether or not they win the game. You can't win if you don't score, and they got to score points because the defense is going to do that job.
And lastly, you got a score prediction. And I know. Obviously, this is a Wellesley sports blog, so you got to sort of read between the lines here. But sort of give us first of all a prediction, then sort of a reason behind the prediction.
I think it's going to be low scoring. Every single Raider game has been low scoring all year. Really, around high school football, you don't see too many high scoring games in general. But I think the Raiders are going to score just enough points to get it done. Let's say 14-10. I think they get 2 touchdowns. I think 2 touchdowns should be enough. I think that defense should be able to hold up. If they can get to 2 touchdowns, I like their chances.
All right. Well, it's whatever the case may be. It's going to be a fun time on Thanksgiving Day. Again, folks, if you haven't already done so, go to RedSox.com, buy your tickets, get into Fenway Park. This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity.
$20 to go to Fenway Park.
$20 to watch. Yeah, $20 to watch the game at Fenway, folks. Come on, it's a no-brainer here. Let's be honest. But it's supposed to be a beautiful day too, from what they're saying in the early forecast. So again, 9 a.m. Thanksgiving Day, Wellesley versus Needham. This is going to be fun. Also, we'll obviously both be in there. I'll probably be posting later on some highlights and some pictures from the game, so look out for that on the blog. Again, he's Peter Santo. Check him out, santosports.com. Wellesley High School Bradford, Twitter, Facebook, just this kid's everywhere. I'm Robbie Johnson. Thanks again for tuning in here to WellesleySportsBuzz.com. Take it easy.